And wow, this is just wild. It's like it's just lost all sense of reality. I feel like I'm in some sort of crazy fun house. Welcome back to a vision experiment with me, Ty, where we talk about everything to do with Apple Vision Pro, spatial computing, applications, accessories, and more. And we're going to be talking about Passthrough. To some people, Apple Vision Pro is their first time of ever wearing some form of head-mounted display. So we're going to say that impression is a very high bar. And for obvious reasons, Apple have given you the best of the best experience so that you go home and you tell everybody how amazing that experience was. But Apple aren't first to the game, and there are plenty of other options, and there is a bit of a backstory to how we've come to evolve head-mounted displays, VR headsets, augmented reality, eyewear, whatever we want to call it, into what it is today. So we're going to have a look really quickly at Passthrough in the most current available technology in the MetaQuest 3, the Vision Pro, and also we're going to throw in a curveball. But before we do that, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel if you want more amazing content. So Meta have been around for a very long time. They are the main parent company of Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and more. But they are also in the virtual reality game with this current headset, which is the MetaQuest 3. Now, you're telling me straight away that this thing has been everywhere online, and as you well know, it's heavily tailored towards people who like virtual reality gaming. This is also their best iteration of their virtual reality headset that can also do incredible mixed reality. And as little as $500, roughly, this thing is a beast of a headset. And considering that Apple Vision Pro is around $3,500, or if we're looking at it in pounds, it's pretty similar. It's an expensive leap to go from Quest 3 to Apple Vision Pro. One of the big things about mixed reality versus virtual reality is the fact that with virtual reality, you are taken away from the real world into kind of a digital space, a digital world, or you're looking at immersive video content that was captured of the real world. Mixed reality, or MR, is where you are looking at your real world through color camera feed inside the headset. This feed is giving you a real world scale perspective of your surroundings, and in modern headsets such as these two, you're getting a 3D view in color of those surroundings. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So welcome to in-headset in the Apple Vision Pro. Now we are heading into the evening time. Welcome to my garden space. As you can see, we've got this color pass-through as I've been describing, which is absolutely, for my sort of personal feelings, amazing. Like, it's got depth, it's got visual clarity all around, and everything feels in great scale. And we need to do a couple of tests to really sort of prove how good this is, and I've been really pushing it hard to find any issues with it whatsoever. As we're in daylight, as it stands at the moment, there's very little in terms of issues with the image. It's all in proportion. I can see my hands, I can see my Apple Watch, which is really, really good. I can see my camera as well. Let's go and have a look at a laptop screen, and this is where things start to change. So as we kind of head over here to the laptop screen and we kind of have a look at the screen, do we see any obvious change in how it is? And there's a mild, very, very mild amount of warping, tiny amounts just in the corners I can see in the headset. And you know, looking at my keyboard, it looks really, really good, really clear. And you know, realistically, this is by far, from a standalone headset standpoint, the pinnacle of current technology when it comes to mixed reality and what you can see in mixed reality. Let's do the phone test. So if we've got the laptop in front of me, and it's something that people probably do pretty daily, is that they have a laptop or a computer screen in front of them and they pick up their phone to have a look at their phone. I can read the text there. I can read the text on my notifications as I open it up, which we won't show on camera. If I kind of sort of have, this is on max brightness as well, understanding max brightness, bringing that down ever so slightly, I've got, you know, all the apps are really visible. I can see the text really, really well. And that is sort of testament to Apple's ability to be able to have given you the really best clarity when it comes to looking at Passthrough in a mixed reality headset. Now, the only thing is just, let's have a look at maybe my reflection in the window. And this is my conservatory. Unfortunately, it's a playroom as well. And yeah, again, no visual warping, nothing's crazy, everything. I can feel that I've got that sort of depth perception, which is fantastic in a mixed reality headset. One thing to mention is something that's called screen door effect. Now, screen door effect is where you can see pixels from the panel that's inside of the headset, and if you can see the kind of gaps almost between the pixels, that's where you start to kind of have that feeling where it's not the sharpest, it's not the clearest, it doesn't have a seamless experience. And this is something that's evolved over the years and has gotten better and better and better. But with Apple Vision Pro's micro OLED panels, you've got almost indistinguishable screen door effect. I can look at my hands, I wouldn't even know that it was a panel, a screen that I'm looking at. I definitely know I'm looking through a camera feed, but what I cannot see are pixels whatsoever. It's very, very clear. And when I bring up my menu, that is also exceptionally sharp, and I can obviously see my background surroundings behind it, but everything is really, 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 and I mean really sharp and clear. So that is something that I really like about the Vision Pro. Let's have a look at some other headsets. So this is the MetaQuest 3, and as you can see, it has amazing color pass-through as well. That said, bearing in mind the cost of this particular device, there will be a difference in its quality, but let's have a look and see how well it does. So we're back in the garden space, we're having a look at different stuff, we're looking to see how it copes with near and far away things. Now, me looking at my camera now, there is some serious warping going on, and as I kind of wave my hands over the front of it, you can still see there's a little bit of strange warping. Now, let's go over to the laptop and do the laptop test and see what that's like. But as it stands at the moment, it is pretty damn good for a headset that is so much cheaper than the Apple Vision Pro. Now, can I read my watch? Yes, I can, just about. I can't quite make out some of the text that's just below the number, but I know what the time is, and that is good. I can tell just at a little distance that I'm on 79% battery, which is pretty decent as well. Let's go over to the laptop. Now we're currently over at the laptop screen. I can see considerable warping at the top parts of the actual screen itself, and you can see things as I tip my head down to look at my keyboard that it's kind of stretching. And we're on V78, which is the most recent update to the MetaQuest 3, and these are the things that could potentially cause you to have some kind of motion sickness. And as you can see here, as my hands are kind of closer to the desk or closer to the keyboard even, that it's not too bad, the warping isn't too bad, but that sort of warping on the screen there isn't great, and I hope that Meta in the future will be able to improve the algorithm of their mixed reality pass-through camera system. Let's do the quick phone test. So let's just do our password again, and let's have a look. Can I read stuff on the phone? See, the phone is warping quite a lot as well, which isn't terrible, honestly. It's not terrible. I'm getting a lot of different menus appear as well in my hands. Can I read the text? Not really. It's not terrible, but I can't read the text on the phone. I can see some of the notifications, and if we kind of sort of raise the brightness, yeah, it's absolutely fine for some of that as well. Now let's go onto the laptop and let's have a look. As we sort of pass the phone around the laptop, we're seeing a lot more warping underneath here than what you would get on the Apple Vision Pro. So yeah, overall, Passthrough is really decent on the MetaQuest 3. There is a little bit more grain and noise, it's a little bit more mushy, but what do you expect for that difference in price? I think that this is such a fantastic piece of hardware that Meta have created for the price point. It should absolutely be worth more, in my opinion. It should be selling for far more when, as you can see over here, which is a little curveball, the Quest Pro sold for $1,500 when it launched less than 2 years ago. So from that standpoint, this being $500 or just under $500, £500 is a fantastic product if you're looking to get into spatial computing. Let's bring up the menu. And you've got hand tracking on this as well. It may not have the eye tracking to help you quite so easily, so you've got a little dot to show you where your hands are going, but you can navigate around pretty well. We can sort of press buttons, we can shift the window around to where you want it to. You could even, maneuver it sort of out of the way and open up other things. Let's open up the browser. And you've got a browser window here that you can move around as well, and you can also resize too, as far as I'm aware, a bit like Vision Pro, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, this is the Quest 3. Considering this launched on the 10th of October 2023, let's have a look at what the Quest Pro was like. This launched in the October of 2022, where the leaps have come in Passthrough. And here we are in the MetaQuest Pro. Now, this released in the late part of 2022. So we're less than 2 years since that launched. And look at the difference in Passthrough. This is, in all honesty, I feel like it's really not great. You've got color, but you've got this strange silhouetting around your hands, and it almost looks green, but as far as I'm aware, this was actually black and white stereo pass-through with a color filter over the top of it. So it had 2 black and white cameras with one individual camera that was color overlaying it on top. And as you can see, it doesn't do the best job. It hasn't held up well, and the dynamic range of this is not great. You can see it dipping and raising in different lighting conditions. I can barely make it out. It's so dark and contrasty looking at my camera. It's incredible how the leap from Quest Pro, which was literally a year, to Quest 3 really improved the color pass-through. This was sold actually at $1,500 and £1,500 as a mixed reality headset. It didn't even come with a light seal that covered your whole face. There was only sort of like 2 blinkers on either side of the thing that kind of magnetized on, and this is what you're getting in terms of the quality of this pass-through. It's actually quite horrible. If I'm brutally honest, it's really not great. Look at the warping, and this is on their highest version of their operating system at the moment, and the warping and the stretching and the jitter and everything is just not great. Now, as you can see here, this has got a better panel than the Quest 3. So anything in mixed reality should look really good in terms of like assets on the screen. Let's see if we can kind of bring this a little bit close towards us. But you can see there is a clear, distinct sharpness of the text and things like that, and it does look very, very good, and it does look better actually as compared to the Quest 3. It looks better looking at these, but looking at the pass-through, it's got some crazy glitching going on I've never seen as well before, and this is only because I've done the most recent software update, and most of the time these headsets are not supposed to be used outdoors. Particularly, that's what Meta says. Now, we don't have bright sunshine, so we're not in direct sunlight, and it's doing some crazy things, something that I never thought it would do. But let's do the laptop test. Let's have a look at the laptop, and wow, this is just wild. It's like it's it's like it's just lost all sense of reality. I feel like I'm in some sort of crazy fun house, and look at the way that it's kind of reacting to my hands around the screen. Nothing is readable in this pass-through. I barely can see what the letters are on my keyboard, and my hands have gone so bright with the way that it's sort of doing the pass-through. It's really, really not great for my eyes to look through this pass-through for too long. Let's do the phone test. Let's have a check of that. Let's have a see. And everything just looks really blown out. I can barely read anything. It's not great. And you've still got that terrible amount of warping. It's just not fun to watch at all. And if we kind of sort of raise the brightness, everything just gets fully blown out. It's far too bright. And then we bring it down. Will it make it a difference? No, because that color overlay just isn't accurate. You can even see here on the Tesla logo, it's just all over the place. And the fact that they released this headset in this way is almost shocking to me. And this is what I was used to, and this was the product that I was desperate to get my hands on after Quest 2, which, if you don't know, Quest 2 had a pass-through mode, but it was all black and white. There was no color pass-through until this headset. This was one of the first headsets that had a stereo, so you've got some depth, there is some 3D depth, color pass-through, and it just doesn't cut the mustard as a pro product. And I can see now why it didn't do what Meta wanted it to be. This headset came with eye tracking, facial tracking. It had the best panels in a standalone at the time, and it had a slightly upped processor and chip inside it. But unfortunately, the pass-through let it down massively, as you can see. So that was an overview look at the MetaQuest 3, the AppleVisionPro, and a throw-in of the MetaQuest Pro to see how times have evolved from 2022 to 2023 and on to 2024. I'm just looking forward to seeing what 2025 and beyond has in store for us. If you did like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to A Vision Experiment, where we talk about everything to do with Apple Vision Pro, spatial computing, accessories, applications, and more. And I'll see you for another video really soon. You imagine what these are going to be like in 10 years' time. They're going to be so small. Like, this thing is going to be like an absolute ancient relic. No one's going to really care whatsoever what Meta did with the Quest Pro or the Quest 3 or Apple with the Vision Pro. It's going to be super old news, and no one's going to even care about the price of these things because they're going to be so affordable. It's just going to be like having a phone or having an iPad. This is going to be in a scrap heap somewhere.